Hey, good afternoon or morning if you're in Mountain Standard Time or Central Standard Time. This is Bunmi Moore, Platinum Chairman with Laura Life International, and I'm excited to talk to you all today about a topic that is very important for discussion when you're in business, or very important when you're in the pursuit of success and going out to reach your goals and dreams like we all are. So I want to start out just by greeting you. Thanks for coming on into the room and joining in with me this afternoon here on the East Coast. And just to tell you a little bit about myself, again, my name is Bunmi Moore. I've actually been with the company before it even became Laura Life. So even in the pre-launch stages of what was O2 Worldwide, I was introduced to this opportunity. So been here for just about, over 4 years now. And I am so excited about the decision that I made so long ago, excited about where Laura Life is headed. I'm excited for all of us. And so when Teresa asked me to share, I told her that personal development is one of my favorite topics to talk about, because there is a direct correlation between your personal development and the size of your check. And I know you want that check to always be bigger, right? So my parents were the ones who introduced me to network marketing when I was probably 11 or 12 years old. So I've been around the industry since then. I tell people, if you cut me, I bleed network marketing. I'm a second generation networker, and I absolutely love it. And the other thing that I love is helping people to be successful. So today, we, family, are going to talk about failing forward. So I have 5 points for you that I've written down. I want you to get out a pen and piece of paper so you can follow along, because as my team knows, I always say, the paper never forgets. Okay? So I want you to take notes on this, because this is really important. This is something to share with your team as well. So we're talking about failing forward. And failing is a topic that's real important to get the correct perspective on, because most people have an unhealthy relationship with failure. Isn't that true? Hello, Marcella. Yes, most people have an unhealthy relationship with failure. So what I want to do today through these 5 points, and we can have a discussion, and I'll look here to see if you're making any comments. I want us to get the correct perspective on failure. That is so important in this journey towards success. And yes, I'm speaking it over you right now. You will be massively successful in this business. And the first point I want you to write down is this: that most people don't reach their dream, not because of failure, but because they give up. Excuse me, I should have turned that phone off. Most people don't reach their dream, let me fix this, not because of failure, but because they give up. So let's talk about that, because when I think back to, I'm sorry, you guys, when I think back to some of the personal development books that I have read in the past, such as Think and Grow Rich, one of the things that really comes to mind is the story of the guy with 3 feet from gold. Remember that? So he was searching to become rich in the gold mines, and he was looking and looking and looking, and he just wasn't finding the vein. And so he got tired and he stopped. He packed up all his stuff. He sold it to somebody for dirt cheap, and he went on home with his head down. Well, come to find out a little later, what happened? That person that he sold all of his equipment to got some expert opinion and found out that where the gentleman had stopped, he had stopped looking just 3 feet from gold. So understand this principle. Failure isn't the reason that most people aren't successful. The reason is because, and I know one person who will never, ever give up, who's on this line with us watching, Miss Jackie Powers and Gomasia, a great visionary leader here with us heading up the South Africa market, talking about being resilient and overcoming failure. Boy, that's her. So make sure you understand that. Failure is not the reason that people don't succeed. It is because they give up. So make sure that's something that you never do. Now, point 2. Understand that failure isn't failure unless it's final. Write that down. Failure isn't failure unless it is final. So what does that say to us? Well, you get to choose. You get to decide whether or not you stop or whether or not you keep going. So my question to you would be, what would the champions do, right? Despite of. Champions keep going despite the hard times. So failure isn't failure unless it's final. Just make a decision that if you stop, then it's a perceived failure. It is not going to be final. And understand this, guys, when we have an experience that is a perceived failure, you got to learn the lesson. It's failure if it's final and if you don't learn anything. See, this is the important part. We've got to learn the lesson from these experiences. Jackie says, no retreat, no surrender. That's the championship spirit that we need to have. No retreat, I'm not turning back. No surrender, I'm not giving up. The proverb says, fall down 7 times, get up 8. Hey, that's our mantra, right? We fall down 7 times, we give up 8. We're like the Energizer Bunny. We're just going to keep going and going and in pursuit of your dreams. So, again, you fall down 7 times, you get up 8. But remember, guys, we must always learn the lesson. And there's lessons in every experience, okay? In every experience. So, point number 3, I got this from Will Smith. I love him. He's so inspirational. Will Smith says, fail early, fail often, and fail forward. Write those 3 things down. What must you do? Why would Will Smith say fail early, fail often, and fail forward? Well, because failure is a part of being massively successful. It just is. Like, for real, for real. And that's why when I said get a different perspective of it, like, embrace it. No, it's okay. And it actually can be a good thing. Failure is a part of being massively successful. Let's look at, there's a lot of people we can talk about. Let's look at Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan, we know him to be the greatest of all time. Some people kind of say, well, who is this? Is it LeBron? Is it Kobe? Is it Michael? But whoever, most people say Michael Jordan, right? So did you know that Michael Jordan threw in his career, and I have this written down, a total of 24,537 shots. That's what he took. But he missed 12,345. So somebody may say he failed over 12,000 times. But in that was his process that he had to go through in order to become one of the greatest of all times. He missed 12,000 times. Did you know this? Kobe Bryant has the record during the regular NBA season of missing more shots than anyone in the NBA in history. The legend, Kobe Bryant, 24. He missed more shots than anyone since the NBA started. One of the greatest of all times. So what should that speak to you? That should speak to you and should tell you that successful people fail a lot. So if you failed a lot in your past, then guess what you should think? Man, I'm in the roles of those people who are going to be massively successful. That's right. Massively successful people, they fail a lot. And we all know the story of Edison, right? 10,000 times, couldn't figure out how to get the light bulb working. And somebody said, Edison, you failed 10,000 times. He had the right perspective. He was like, wait a minute. No, I didn't. I just found out 10,000 ways it didn't work. I didn't fail 10,000 times. You know how people say, what if he had stopped? We might all be sitting in the dark today, right? So that was point number 3. Point number 4, understand that if you're never failing, that you're playing it too safe in life and you aren't taking risk. It is so important to get yourself, well, I can tell my team, success is created in the fear zone. You got to get out on the edge sometimes. You got to take risk. You got to get out of your comfort zone. Success is created in that fear zone. If you want to live a life that's comfortable, you got to get uncomfortable. And if you're never failing, you're playing it too safe. And you know what happens when you start playing it too safe in life? If you have a life of playing it too safe, you'll probably regret it in the end. And most people who play it too safe truly live a life of misery. They have lots of regrets. So what I'm saying to you, press up against those fear barriers. Understand if you're going in pursuit of something, you're a little nervous, that's great. Do it afraid. Get out of the box. You know how they say, if you want to walk on water, you got to do what? You got to get out of the boat. If you want to walk on water, you got to get out of the boat. And so it's just part of the process of success, us failing. Remember, always learning the lesson. So that's point number 5. Point number 5 is allow failure to be a part of your process. You got that? Allow failure to be a part of your process. There is growth in failure. Like when I think back, my network marketing career, I started in network marketing when I was 19. I didn't get to be a 6-figure earner until, 2005, 2006, something like that. So I was 19. What year was that? So that was in, I was 19, whatever year that was. In 1991, okay, is when I really started in network marketing. I didn't hit 6 figures until 2005. I made some money, right? But I didn't hit 6 figures until then. But every time I was going for a rank, typically every time, I never hit it on my first go. But guess what I did? I didn't say, oh, I didn't make the rank and stop. I learned some things, I regrouped, and I went at it again. That is truly failing your way forward. So if you're going for superstar commander, platinum chairman, gold, bronze, whatever it is in this company or another company or whatever you're going for, ambassador, global ambassador, platinum chairman and beyond, crown chairman. If you don't hit it that month, what do? You learn the lessons, you regroup, you find a way to start better again. Remember, fall down 7 times, get up 8. That's right, Marcella, there is growth in failure. So getting back to the Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich, all of you all should have this in your library, right? And you go to the chapter in 3 Feet from Gold and you read the story. I forget the man's name. I forget what his name was. Uncle somebody. But anyway, so when he was telling that story about how he stopped, he could have been super, super rich, but he gave up. He was just 3 feet from his destination, 3 feet from gold. He gave up. And believe me, the feeling in the pit of his stomach when he found out he was just so close, if he hadn't given up, I can imagine that feeling. But this is what he did. He learned the lesson. So he got into the insurance business. And so he looked back at what happened when he was prospecting from gold. And he said, I may have stopped 3 feet from gold, but I will never, ever stop because men tell me no. See, he got the right perspective. He learned the lesson from the first perceived failure, but it wasn't really a failure. It was an experience that he needed and he championed so that the next go around in the insurance business, he went to the top. He still became a millionaire because he got his mindset right. He got his perspective on failure right. I'll go to see this guy. This person tells me no. I'm not going to stop. I'm going to go to the next one. That one tells me no. I'm going to keep on going. I may have stopped 3 feet from goal, but I will never stop because men tell me no. That's the same mindset that you need to have. Because in this industry of network marketing, we get told no all the time. Prospects, not everybody wants to join your business. Not everybody should join your business. Not everybody wants to buy your product, and maybe not everyone should join your product. We believe should have use your product. We believe that they should, but maybe for some reason they don't want to. They say no, you say next. Remember that. When they say no, you say next and keep going. There's a book, if you don't have it, Go for No. You need to read that, have your team to read that, put that in your personal development library. But the people who win the most fail the most, okay? The people who win the most fail the most. So failing is okay. Learn the lesson, get up again, and keep going forward. That was point 5. Now, as I conclude, I want to read a poem to you guys, and this is called The Race. But first, I want to ask you a question. Here's the question. How will you use failure? How will you use failure, right? Will you let it, I came up with this last night. Will you let failure fool you? F-O-O-L. Will you let perceived failure fool you into thinking that you can't? Or will you let it fuel you, F-E-U-L, into knowing that you can? The choice is yours. You get to decide. Are you going to let failure fool you, or are you going to let it fuel you and get up and go again? Hopefully, you're picking that champion choice of letting it fuel you. And you can say, this is my goal, and I'm going to get it. This is my goal, and I'm not going to stop. I can do, be, and have whatever I desire. I don't care what obstacles come my way. I don't care the perceived challenges. I'm going to find a way to go over it, under it, through it, whatever. I'm going to bust down walls so the success will be mine. That needs to be your mindset. So I want to close with this poem, all right? And it's called The Race. I think this is so powerful. This is really going to help your perspective on failure, which again, hopefully from this, that you've learned that for failure, just like fear, you know how fear, the acronym for fear is false evidence appearing real. It's all in how we think about it in our mind. Failure is just an appearance. It's just your perspective on it. Remember, Wayne Dyer said, when you change your thinking, you change your life. So change your thinking about failure. Embrace it. Look at it as something that's great, that grows you. So this is called The Race. All right. It goes like this. Whenever I start to hang my head in front of failure's face, my downward fall is broken by the memory of a race. A children's race. Young boys, young men, how I remember well. Excitement, sure, but also fear. It wasn't hard to tell. They all lined up so full of hope, each thought to win that race, or tie for first, or if not that, at least take second place. Their parents watched from off the side, each cheering for their son, and each boy hoped to show his folks that he would be the one. The whistle blew and off they flew like chariots of fire. To win, to be the hero was each young boy's desire. One boy in particular, whose dad was in the crowd, was running in the lead and thought, my dad will be so proud. But as he speeded down the field and crossed a shallow dip, the little boy who thought he'd win lost his step and slipped. Trying hard to catch himself, his arms flew every place, and amidst the laughter of the crowd, he fell flat on his face. As he fell, his hope fell too. He couldn't win it now. Humiliated, he just wished to disappear somehow. But as he fell, his dad stood up and showed his anxious face, which to the boy so clearly said, "Get up and win that race." He quickly rose, no damage done, a bit behind, that's all, and ran with all his mind and might to make up for his fall. So anxious to restore himself, to catch up and to win, his mind went faster than his legs. He slipped and fell again. He wished that he had quit before, with only one disgrace. I'm hopeless as a runner now. I shouldn't try to race. But through the laughing crowd, he searched and found his father's face with a steady look that said again, "Get up and win that race." So he jumped up to try again, 10 yards behind the last. If I'm to gain those yards, he thought, I've got to run real fast. But trying hard to catch the lead, he said, I've got to run real fast. Exceeding everything he had, he regained 8, then 10. But trying hard to catch the lead, he slipped and fell again. Defeat. He lay there silently. A tear dropped from his eye. There's no sense in running anymore. 3 strikes, I'm out, why try? I've lost, so what's the use, he thought. I'll live with my disgrace. But then he thought about his dad, who soon he'd have to face. Get up, an echo sounded low. You haven't lost at all. For all you have to do to win is rise each time you fall. Get up, the echo urged him on. Get up and take your place. You were not meant for failure here. Get up and win that race. So he rose up once more, refusing to forfeit. And he resolved that win or lose, at least he wouldn't quit. So far behind the others now, the most he'd ever been. Still, he gave it all he had and ran like he could win. 3 times he'd fallen stumbling. 3 times he rose again. Too far behind to hope to win, he still ran to the end. They cheered another boy who crossed the line and won first place. Head high and proud and happy, no falling, no disgrace. But when the fallen youngster crossed the line in last place, the crowd gave him a greater cheer for finishing the race. And even though he came in last with head bowed low, unproud, you would have thought he'd won the race to listen to the crowd. And to his dad, he sadly said, I didn't do so well. To me, you won, his father said. You rose each time you fell. And now, when things seem dark and bleak and difficult to face, the memory of that little boy helps me in my own race. For all of life is like that race with ups and downs and all. And all you have to do to win is rise each time you fall. And when depression and despair shout loudly in my face, another voice within me says, get up and win that race. That's my story for you today, and I'm sticking to it. You get up and win that race, and remember to always fail forward. Have a great day, everyone. Bye-bye.